Me and this man ain't never been no room together with no pulling no orgy type, doing none of that out there be doing, thinking you doing some fly shit. You in a room naked with some other and some broad and looking at you. And if that gay and you need to get on some other. Me and this man got nothing but respect for each other. We ain't never put no train. We ain't no freaks. We some family men. We getting this paper.
They're owned by gay. I happen to think there's a gay mafia in hip hop.
Right.
Not rappers. You know, the editorial presidents of magazines. Sure. The PDs at radio stations. The people who give you award at award shows. This is a gay mafia, my man.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? They are in power.
And then, yes, it's very effeminized, but be very clear. There were lots of homosexuals in hip-hop back in the 80s, too. You know, that was you know, what's worse? You know, hip-hop wearing skirts or hip-hop being closeted and having a plethora of kids to prove manhood that, you know, and denial of something that you shouldn't have to deny, which is your sexuality.
There's been a lot of talk lately in the media about the DL rappers, and now fans are digging up old Pimp C interviews where Pimp called out these men who are living a double life and putting on a fake tough guy persona in public. Now, for those who might not know, Pimp C wasn't just known for his bars and influence in the southern rap scene. He was one of the few who weren't afraid to speak his mind, especially when it came to calling out hypocrisy in the industry. And one thing he kept mentioning was that there were rappers on the DL who were acting tough, being over-the-top aggressive, putting their hands on women, and even targeting young men to victimize them, all because they're too scared to live in their truth. Pimp C saw a pattern in the industry that most people weren't talking about at the time, and he felt some rappers were overcompensating to fit this hyper-masculine gangsta image. Now, he didn't say any names directly, but he definitely hinted at some big players in the game. And you already know, everyone is convinced he was talking about Diddy.
That in the closet. Yeah, you in the closet. You know what I'm talking about? You a homosexual. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got nothing against you, but don't be trying to pause in the pussy population with your old sick.
So now with all this drama surrounding Diddy, Pimp C's comments have resurfaced once again. And people are saying Pimp tried to expose Diddy years ago, with some fans even speculating that Pimp was unalived for it. There were a lot of things that didn't add up about Pimp's death, and his fans never bought the official story, which claimed that Pimp passed from an OD cough syrup and a pre-existing sleep apnea. So was Pimp C really trying to give us a warning about this hidden side of the rap industry? And does Diddy's name coming up again and again mean there's more to Pimp C's sudden death than meets the eye? Let's dive in and find out.
A lot of fugazi man. You know what I'm saying? These floppy, they pitching and they catching with these bars, and they doing all this. So, and if you gay, that's cool, but be gay and come on out and be that.
So as you all know, Diddy is currently behind bars and waiting for his trial to kick off in May 2025. Meanwhile, horrific lawsuits against him keep piling up, with the latest one alleging that Diddy victimized a 10-year-old aspiring rapper.
Good morning, George. Sean Combs is already fighting multiple sections, each one more disturbing than the next. His latest accuser says he was 10 years old at the time. This morning, a California man alleges he was 10 years old when Sean Combs him during a 2005 visit to New York. He was trying to break into the music industry, and a civil lawsuit says his parents left him with a consultant who brought him to meet Combs. The lawsuit says Combs complimented plaintiff on his rapping and told plaintiff that he could make him a star. Then the lawsuit says Combs abruptly pushed plaintiff down and said words to the effect of, "You have to do some stuff you don't want to do sometimes," before forcing him to perform a sex act.
Honestly, if even a fraction of all these allegations are true, Diddy deserves to rot in prison for the rest of his life. People are now calling him an actual demon, saying he's wreaked havoc on countless lives, women, men, and children. And while the rumors about Diddy's sexuality are what got folks talking at first, let's be real. That's not what's troubling here. The real problem is the pattern of alleged mistreatment and manipulation, and how men like Diddy seem to use their influence to control and harm those around them. Now, to be clear, someone being on the DL doesn't make them a criminal. Plenty of DL men from all walks of life live their truth quietly without hurting anyone. But for some in the hip-hop world, it's a different story. See, when it comes to rappers who might be hiding their true selves, things can get dangerous. The pressure to maintain a fake hard persona can lead to some toxic behavior. So instead of living authentically, certain rappers go above and beyond to keep up this hyper-masculine gangster image. And often, they take that pressure and frustration out on others, overcompensating by getting violent or aggressive just to maintain their tough guy facade. And it's not just Diddy. There are apparently quite a few men in the entertainment industry who are rumored to be on the DL, but hide behind a public mask of aggression and violence to protect their image. And they go out of their way to intimidate, or even ruin the careers of those who get too close to exposing them. And one of the first ones to speak out against these men was none other than Pimp C. In one viral interview that's now making the rounds again, Pimp and his UGK bandmate Bun B called out rappers who get into some weird stuff in the bedroom just to hide the fact that they prefer men.
You know, people, I won't even say a group. It's the only reason two men can really call themselves friends or partners or homies. Can't start with lies, you can't build on lies, and you know what I'm saying, when it's all over, you know what I'm saying, can't be no lies a part of it. Everything between me and him, regardless of how we may deal with everybody else, I'm 100 with him. He 100 with me. That's the only way we gonna make it. And from the beginning, it's always been we. It ain't never been.
And watch this, Bun. I'ma say this too. These out there think this cool, but it ain't cool. Me and this man ain't never been in no room together with no pulling no orgy type doing none of that you niggas that be doing, thinking you doing some fly. You in a room naked with some other and some broad that looking at your ass. And if that gay, and you need to get on some other. Me and this man got nothing but respect for each other. We ain't never pulling no trains. We ain't no freaks. We some family men. We getting this paper. You know what I'm talking about? And I had to put that out there, bun, because a lot of fugazi and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? These flip-floppy, they pitching and they catching with these boys.
Pimp then clarified that the issue was not these men being gay. It's the fact that they are putting on this fake persona and doing the most to prove their masculinity.
And they doing all this, and if you gay, that's cool, but be gay and come on out and be that. Don't be in front of us and act like a straight up G, and then you get over here and you let these boys bust up your back. But you know, it gonna come to the light. And yeah, I wanna put that out there, man. This man ain't never seen me naked. I ain't never seen him naked. We don't desire to do no that. We ain't going out like that. And we were wild young teenagers. And when
we before that X, you know, that X,
yeah.
a lot of that shit, a lot of these boys' heads, I don't know. Maybe they using X as an excuse to open them doors that they really. You know what I'm saying?
Where's we like?
But, you know.
But Pimp didn't stop there. There's another video floating around where he's calling out these DL men for spreading diseases and putting their partners at risk. And of course, fans are now convinced that one of the men Pimp was talking about is Diddy. If you go and watch these interviews, you'll see a whole bunch of new comments from people saying Pimp's comments aged like fine wine. And that's not all the fans are saying. Some of them are even speculating that Pimp being so outspoken and directly calling out these fake hard rappers is the reason he died before his time. One fan commented, "This is why they took him from us. He knew too much, and the East wasn't making noise after his release. True legend." And someone else wrote, "This is not just Diddy. The whole corn scene mixed with drugs effed a lot of people's heads up. A lot of people were into that weird-ish in most genres of music. Pimp C was honest and real, and that's why he got taken out." Now, to give you some background on Pimp's death, in early December 2007, he was staying at the Mondrian Hotel in West Hollywood, preparing for a performance with Too Short. Everything seemed fine until December 4th, when he was supposed to head back home. Pimp's wife Chinara and his cousin Ed were waiting for him at the airport, but he wasn't picking up his phone. Chinara started to worry, so she called the hotel directly, and when staff went to check Pimp's room, they found him unresponsive. They called the paramedics, but sadly, it was too late. And Pimp C, the iconic voice of Southern hip-hop, was pronounced dead at just 33 years old.
He's a hometown hero for Port Arthur, Texas, and he put this town on the map. He's still UGK for life, so, you know, we're gonna definitely, you know, all these people out here, we're gonna definitely make sure we represent it.
As hundreds lined the streets while the body of Butler was taken to his final resting place, many say he lived his life cut too short to the fullest.
Now let's talk about the official cause of death. The coroner ruled it as accidental and attributed it to a dangerous mix of lean and sleep apnea. But here's where things get really shady. DJ Paul from 3 6 Mafia later shared that Pimp's manager, Rick Martin, told him that he actually saw Pimp's body in the hotel room. And according to Martin, the place looked like it had been up. Martin said he was lying down like he was praying, but there was around like he was. They thought he was dead, but they didn't know what the hell happened because there was everywhere. They thought he was knelt down like he was praying, and the candles were all burnt down. So they knew he'd probably been dead for a day or so because he always lit those candles to sleep. He lit those big tall candles and they had been burnt down. So he probably was dead for a while. And to this day, Pimp C's fans are still not buying the official story. And a lot of them are speculating that someone powerful in the industry might have played a role in his untimely death. Fans are now also drawing parallels between Pimp's demise and that of other industry figures who tried to expose the DL lifestyle in hip-hop. And one of the loudest voices was none other than Wendy Williams. Rumor has it that back in the day, Wendy kept a whole list of rappers living on the down low. And she would even have people call in to her show to spill all the messy details about their secret encounters with these rappers. Wendy was also one of the first to openly bring up Diddy's rumored DL lifestyle. And she came with receipts. But when Diddy got wind of Wendy supposedly having a photo of him with another man, he made sure she was fired from Hot 97 and basically ran her out of New York.
New York City. When she put out those pictures of the dude pulling his pants down and it looked like some gay act that was going on, he got on the phone. He said, "Let me tell you this. When I get back to New York City, if she's on the radio station," he's talking to a radio executive. He said the same thing to he said, "Nobody that I deal with, nobody that I know is gonna do anything with y'all. No business at all. It ain't gonna be no artist, no nothing gonna come." He's telling people that at a radio station. When we got back to New York City, Wendy Williams was in Philly at a new station.
Wow.
That's the power he had.
And then Jaguar Wright also recently reminded everyone that Wendy was the first to call out Diddy and other homo thugs in the industry. And according to Jaguar, Wendy paid a huge price for being so outspoken.
That him? Or is that
Shout out to Wendy Williams, the first woman to uncover the homo thugs. That's what these down low was called when Wendy first started talking about it in the 90s, the homo thug. She talking about Diddy. And then what's the stuff that's happening to Wendy Williams? Do you think this is all connection too? Of course. They've been waiting. He's been waiting. He was waiting for Kim. Remember? He was waiting. The casket was ready. She was literally casket ready.
So with people like Pimp C and Wendy Williams facing sudden downfalls, whether through tragic losses or mysterious health scares, it's no wonder fans are questioning if there's a hidden agenda to silence anyone brave enough to expose these so-called homo thugs in the industry. But what's your take on Pimp C's comments about undercover rappers? And do you believe he was really taken out for refusing to stay